Hey everyone, welcome to today's webinar. My name is Srivatsan. I'm an associate director at Vera. We are really excited to partner with the American Red Cross to dive into understanding the power of partnerships, what makes a partnership successful. Joining me on the panel today are my colleagues and friends, Alicia, Mary, and Andre. Would you all like to say hi to everyone? Alicia, maybe we can start with you.
Yeah, of course. Hi, my name is Alicia Vasquez. I am an associate product manager with the American Red Cross. I sit under the humanitarian services branch, and I am a part of the business systems integration team here at American Red Cross. I have been at the American Red Cross for a little over a year, 1 year and 1 month to be exact. So still pretty new to the Red Cross, but excited to be here today to talk about the great work that we do with Vera. Andrea, I'll hand it off to you.
Thanks, Alicia. Hello, my name is Andre. I'm a senior service delivery analyst here at Vera, based in São Paulo, Brazil. I've been with Vera for, I think, a year right now, and working with American Red Cross for the past 9 months. And passing over to Mari.
Thank you, Andre. Hey everyone, I'm Mari. I'm a service delivery analyst. I'm within Vera for over 2 years now, a little bit more, and within the project almost the same time as Andre. And it's a pleasure to be having you guys here today. We hope you enjoy, and it's a pleasure to be sharing such an amazing partnership with you all. Back to you, Srivatsan.
Yes, thanks for the team. I'm based out of Mumbai, and I've been with Vera for a little less than 5 years now, and I'm really excited to dig into what we have today. So today's agenda is about understanding what it takes to make a partnership successful, and we are going to look at this through three segments. So the first one is, how do we define a strategic partnership? What goes into doing that? And then how do you optimize systems for impact? And finally, how do we empower teams? So these are the three main pillars of making a partnership successful. And then we'll take a quick moment to look at the various managed services options from Vera before opening the door to questions. Throughout the session, you will see this little guy with question marks pop up every now and then. So whenever this guy comes up, that's your indication to write down any questions you have. You'll have a question button on your screen. So add your questions there, and towards the end of the session, we'll go through this. We'll go through all the questions, and we'll hear from our colleagues on their experiences and answers to those questions. So, Alicia, can we start with understanding what the American Red Cross is, what they do, and the objectives?
Yeah, of course. At the American Red Cross, our mission is really to prevent and alleviate human suffering. We do this by mobilizing a team of volunteers. The majority of our workforce is actually volunteer workforce. And we also do this through the generosity of our donors throughout the world. So that's a little bit about American Red Cross. Next slide, please. So just a high-level overview of what we do. There are many, many things that we do at American Red Cross. There are many different branches, but just some of the highlights. On average, a year, one of the major things that we do in the United States is that we do blood collections. And so we've got 4.5 around on average each year, 4.5 million blood donations come through the Red Cross each year. We also do disaster services within the United States. And so the Red Cross responds to around 65,000 disasters every year. That could be really large disasters like wildfires or hurricanes, and it could also be individual home disasters like home fires and that type of thing. But we respond to a wide range of disasters within the United States. And then outside of the United States, On average, every year we serve around 120 million people outside of the United States via disease prevention activities and then also our disaster services. And so where I sit and where the work that Vera does, we support a team that is the International Services Division. So the work that we do within Vera is focused on international disasters and getting aid and grants to international disasters. So that's how today is connected to the Greater American Red Cross mission. Why we work or why we think we work really well with Vera. So just a little note of logistics. I may reference RC Project, and RC Project is our version of AMP Impact. So they're interchangeable. I'll try my best to remember AMP Impact, but I might use the term RC Project. But within our version of AMP Impact, we really leverage the grants management piece, like I mentioned earlier, in serving those international disasters. All of the funding and all of the grants that we are serving and making sure that that programming is going out, all of that is tracked within AMP Impact. We do this via projects, we do this via funds, allocations. We also do this via reporting periods. So as funders give us X amount of money to send to Honduras, we'll say, for a disaster, then we respond back to the funder, obviously with the programming that we did, the outcomes that we had. So all of that is tracked within our version of AMP Impact through indicators, targets, results, reporting periods, all of that. So we primarily use it for grants management, but we also do a little bit of project management within it as well. We use it to track some of those activities and milestones that are related directly to the grants that we are sending out. And then we do implementation plans for, again, the funding that we are sending out. So that's a little bit about the way that we leverage Vera and Impact in regards from a system perspective. I will hand it over to Sebastian.
Thanks for that, Alicia. That is certainly very inspiring. And also what we intended to do with AMP Impact, which is exactly customize it according to the needs of our clients. So AMP Impact is RC project. That's how it should. Vera Solutions is a tech for social impact organization. We exist to solve the problems of the social impact space using technology. We've been doing this for over 15 years now, and we have a team of amazing and skilled humans across 8 countries working together towards this mission. A quick introduction to the relationship the American Red Cross and Vera Solutions shares. Vera implemented and configured the AMP Impact solution for American Red Cross, and then from around 2023 onwards, the American Red Cross has had a managed services engagement with Vera for ongoing support and system maintenance. And since then, we have worked with the American Red Cross on a wide range of activities, beginning from training their end users on how to use the system better, to creating user guides and ongoing documentation and maintenance for the system. Alicia here has also benefited from the AMP Impact foundational course, and we are very happy that she's one of our early adopters of this course. Now, this partnership has certainly not been without challenges. We've seen a number of personnel changes on both sides, product management responsibilities, new stakeholders joining, and system goals being owned by multiple people. What we're going to look at today is how did this partnership continue to stay strong? What are the various elements that went into making this powerful? After all, no partnership is there is no single blueprint for making a partnership successful. So we're going to hear it from everyone. We're going to hear it from Alicia. We're going to hear it from the Vera delivery team on what made this partnership powerful. Alicia, maybe we can begin with hearing you talk about how do we define a strategic partnership?
Yeah, of course. So just a little bit of background. Of course, this started before I joined American Red Cross, but one of the things that we were really looking for in a partner was because we were migrating from a legacy system, so we wanted somebody who could pick up the work that we had already been doing in our legacy system, but then also add some customizations and some added value with new functionality and new features. So that was one of our initial needs when we were coming to Vera as a partner. One of the other initial needs that we had is, and we continue to have, is around reactivity. And so as a disaster organization, obviously we can't always anticipate every disaster that's going to hit, when it's going to hit, how large it's going to be. And so there will always be a level to reactivity in the work that we do. But I think this is where it's so critical to ensure that our systems that we are utilizing are built to the best that they can be, that they are functional in the ways that we need them to be able to have that foundational kind of refinement, so that when disasters hit, we're able to leverage the system, we're able to move that money through, that funding through to the people who need it the most. And so that was something, one of our initial needs, and that continues to be something that I think evolves with time and something that we are always striving for, proactivity. I think another need that we have, obviously, as a nonprofit, is making sure that we maximize the hours that we engage with Vera. And so as a managed services, ensuring that we are fully leveraging and utilizing the team, their expertise, to be able to best serve our needs. I think one of the main things around a partnership and what we make strategic is ensuring that we have really clear understanding of what our needs are, and that our partner also understands those and can be able to speak to those and adapt with us as we change. Going into the challenges, very, very aligned with Shravatstan on the staff turnover, the team turnover, both on our end as American Red Cross. I think I'm the third person to lead, but also maybe the fourth, because there was some multiple parental leaves in there. So I might be the fourth or the fifth person. And so on our end, we have, we've had different people leading from our team on, the platform and what we need from the platform. And then also our partners, as Vera, we've had different people as well. I think one of the things that has been really helpful from Vera's perspective, and we'll talk a little bit more about this later, is just having a really core customer success team has been helpful. So even if our direct help and daily help, our analysts are maybe changing, at least we have a core customer support team. And so I think those are some of the challenges that we face, and those, I think, as nonprofits will continue to face those. But that is one of the things that we are mindful of as we come into a partnership. Next slide, please. I think ways that we have really tried to define and refine our partnership with Vera is to ensure that we have really clear alignment in regards to where we're going, what we're working on. Some of those day-to-day logistics can be really important, right? Really critical to the work that we do. And so some of the things that we do, we really focus on planning. We've primarily focused on monthly planning, but we're trying to now evolve into quarterly planning, and then also yearly planning as well. And so I think that is one of the things that is really important for us. I think also for me, as at American Red Cross, like I mentioned earlier, we leverage our team of volunteers very heavily. And so the team that is supporting RC Project or AMP Impact, our version of AMP Impact, is not just the Vera team, but we also have volunteer system admin as well, and we have a volunteer system dev. And so my role is really trying to navigate ensuring that everyone has the work that they need to, everyone's aligned on what they're doing, and that none of our work is interfering with the other work. I think another piece that has been really important, I think with Vera, but then also in past organizations that I've worked on, has been onboarding. So whether that's onboarding the team member or that's onboarding the contractors that you're working with, ensuring that there is a moment where you align on mission, align on how we do work here, and what we need from you as a partner, as a contractor. And so that has been something that I've carried through to this organization, and I think it's just one of the things that helps to ensure that we're running smoothly. I think the other thing is also defining our work, similar to what we talked about earlier with the volunteers and ensuring everyone knows which lane we're in, defining the work, defining what we're working towards, and ensuring that if there's time for questions as well, if there's any questions around the tickets that we're working on. Overall, for us, what we value in partners is having that collaborative spirit. It's one of our 5 C's, collaboration, which is one of our 5 values at American Red Cross. And so we really value being able to collaborate with partners, partners who we can work together with, who we can work towards the mission with, I think is really critical to us. Communication is another piece, having that communication, that transparency, that ability to have feedback. Transparency about where we're going and what we're doing, what's working, what's not working for us is really important. And I think having that in partners is another thing. And that's something that I feel like Vera has been really good at, providing us feedback and then also letting us know where their roadmap is, where we fit into the greater scheme of things. And I think the other thing that sets Vera apart for us, and at least in my personal experience at other organization, is partnering with organizations that do specialize in working with nonprofits. I think when you have contractors that understand how nonprofits work, how nonprofits run, there is a different level, I think, of synergy and a different level of alignment that it allows for us to just move, I think, a little bit more quickly, and avoid maybe some of the additional questions and or some of those barriers or roadblocks of not understanding how we work, right? Nonprofits, sometimes we run very lean. And so being able to have that understanding in a partner, I think, is really, really critical. So those are a few of the items that we highlight and that we value as a partner. And I'll hand it off to Andre.
Thanks, Alicia. So yeah, Maddie and I have been working like for the past 9 months with American Red Cross, and to support this strategic partnership evolution over time, we've mapped some key practices that we've been consistently applying throughout these 9 months. So first one, we adapt our ways of working, and we co-create that a framework that aligns Vera and American Red Cross's missions, visions, and practices. And the heart of this framework is a mission-driven mindset. So every action we take, we connect back to the purpose, the shared goal, the shared purpose. And also, of course, with the support of, we have support of our success managers to drive this mission forward between Vera and American Red Cross. Second, the backbone of this framework that we've been co-creating is the collaboration protocols that in which we streamline accountability and decision making. So in general, we focus on understanding what are the common challenges that we have, who's taking ownership of what, or we call the ownership, so everyone knows what they should own and be accountable for. And also we've been actively incorporating feedbacks to improve the way that we work together. The third key practice is that these collaboration protocols are supported by our communication pipelines. So we have a structured communication pipeline that ensures that the right message is sent to the right people at the right time through the right channel. And this is what ties this collaboration together for us. And fourth, to bring all the pieces together, we have a discipline of routine and planning, so repetition. we have a structure that we repeat, of course, and we improve over time with the feedback that we collect. And also we apply an agile mindset on top of that to make sure that we are always flexible and adaptable to the new challenge that always surface throughout time. And the result of all of these practices that we have is the synergy of the team. So we are two different teams, but we work as one team with one shared goal. Ownership and trust, and I've been seeing this throughout these past 9 months, that ownership and trust are the principles of this team. So we know each other, we exchange information, we are always being honest and exchange everything that we can so we can achieve the goals. And with that evolution, I see that we've been reaching new levels of success and also continuous improvement throughout time. I'll pause here for like 20 seconds so you can jot down your questions, and I'll hand it over back to Alicia.
All right, Sebastian, if we're ready to move on. And please do note questions. I think that will be helpful for us to come back to if there's questions about this section that we talked about. I'm super open to answering anything that is coming up. Moving on to optimizing the system for impact, I think when we think about the Vera team, and when I think specifically about Andrea and Mari, I think of them as very similar to what Andrea said, an extension of the work that we're already doing. And so it feels very much like they work with us and not for us, right? Like that's a bit of a distinction, right? That we're working together. And so I think one of the things that is so important, especially at nonprofits, to remember is that the technical piece, the technical platform, what we're doing is in fact mission critical. Sometimes I think we think only on like boots on the ground, that's mission, and everything else is just support. But if the platform is not working, if the system is not working, then this, at least for us at American Red Cross, then that disaster support that we offer that is our mission cannot get done. And so it is really mission critical, the work that we are doing, even though it's on a technical side and on the back end side of things. And so I think with that in mind, the importance, the urgency of the work that we're doing, we do prioritize planning. And as we go through the execution, we work on backlog. And Andrea will share a little bit more, but we are working on improving our backlog practices. So ensuring that we have tickets that are ready to go. If the team runs out of time, or if the team runs out of other tickets and other work and we still have hours with Vera, we make sure that there's additional tickets that they can be working on. I think the other thing that we work on as well is our sprints. And so making sure that we are aligned. Our team does monthly sprints. And so we set out the work that we need to do for the next month, the month before. We know generally what we are working on. The way that and the way that we're working with Vera right now is that we leverage Andre and Mari, the managed services. We leverage them to do some of the work that we are more clear on and we can have a little bit more proactivity on. And then I leverage my volunteer team, so my system admin and my dev, to work on any issues that might come up throughout the month. So while Andrea and Mario are really trying to focus on the tickets that they're working on, they know that ahead of time. My volunteer team, there might be things that come up throughout the month. And so they are really working on that kind of in that first level of support, if you will. We also work on quarterly scheduling. So this is really just like a logistics thing, ensuring that we know when holidays are, when people are taking time off, so that we can best leverage the hours that we have with Vera. And then this year is new. We are piloting an annual roadmap for our team to ensure that we know what we're working on, and along with our user team, ensuring that they know which role they play, whether that's discovery of new functionalities that we are not yet leveraging with AMP Impact, ensuring that that team has the capacity and has the time allotted to ensure that they can support with discovery in that regard. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but one of the things that has been, I think, really vital and helpful to have from the Vera team is having that consistent success, customer success team. And so our team is Leo, it's Chris, and it's Caroline. And so they have been consistent throughout my journey at American Red Cross. And then we have had different developers come in and out throughout, I think, or analysts come in and out. I do really appreciate the partnership with the Vera team. We have routine check-ins. So Andre and Mari, because we work most closely together, we meet twice a week. And so that's when we are reviewing what is being worked on, any barriers to or roadblocks to the work that they're doing, anything that I need to take back to the user team to ask or to clarify or to get insight from, I can do that. And so our work is always moving. Leo and Chris, I get to meet with them once a month, and we really look at how the work that Mari and Andre are doing, how that's working for us. If I have any major time off that's coming up, we talk about the logistics in that regard of how we'll staff the team. If one of Andre or Mari are out, we'll also talk about those logistics with Leo and Chris as well. And then Chris and Caroline, those conversations are really focused a bit more high level. So it's focused on like, what do we as a partner need? Where are we going? Is there any additional things that we need to be thinking about? Proposals, budgeting, that type of thing. We work together. And then we haven't quite got one yet, but we are going to be piloting quarterly impact reviews. And that's an even higher level. And so that will be with our team and our team's leadership as well. Again, looking at Vera as a partner, what does this look like over time? How they add value to our team, and what else do we need from them at a much higher level? And so I think one of the themes, thinking about the way that we partner with Vera, is that there are multiple levels to the support that we as a nonprofit client get from the team. And I think even though there are multiple layers and multiple levels to that support, I think the consistent key throughout is that if every team member that we engage with feels like they're very mission oriented, understands the challenges that working with nonprofits face. And so yeah, I think that is one of the things that sets Vera apart, and one of the things that we really value in our partnership with them. It allows us to optimize the system. It allows us to be proactive in the ways that we can be proactive. I think having these check-ins allows us to see kind of forward what is coming up for us, and what is also coming up for Vera on their roadmap as well. So talked a little bit about partnership and our perspective, but I will hand it off to Andre to talk a little bit more about what it feels like as an analyst to be working with us.
Thanks, Alicia. So, Alicia mentioned how we have these weekly check-ins to organize our work, and also I want to connect back to that key principles that I mentioned before. It's that routine and planning. So this is I'm going to touch base here on what our structure, our check-ins look like and throughout the weeks, during a month, during a sprint. Okay, so this is the case. This is the structure of our agenda. So our agenda is the source of truth for our monthly planning, and we follow up on this agenda every check-in. So the mission, so the way that we interpret this agenda is that we have to go through all items, specific items, top down, so we understand what's going on right now. So the key takeaways of this meeting are like what we did, what we are doing next, and if we have blockers. And also on top of that, we use this session as energizers for the three of us. So usually these meetings happens between me, Alicia, and Mari. And we decide what tickets we need to work on right now, what tickets should be paused, what tickets are blocked, or okay, I don't have any other tickets to work right now, and we have a backlog of tickets that we are low priority tickets that we can work if we have like, okay, we've completed these tickets, we have time available, and we can take over these tickets that are crucial for this sprint, but we can start working on them. So this is how we are also maximizing the utilization of hours that we have available with American Red Cross. We don't, so there's no time to be idle or blocked. So there's always something next to do for this engagement. Next slide, please. And this is the view of our calendar. So the calendar is the support of our planning, our agenda. Okay, so in the calendar, we visually display key dates of the month that we need to be aware of when prioritizing, when planning, when things need, when the new functionalities need to be deployed, when need to be tested, or when need to be developed. It also guides us on deciding what to do next, what to unprioritize, or what you should change throughout the sprint. So this calendar is defined by the beginning of the month, and we consult this calendar throughout the sprint when something new pops up or we need to prioritize something. So this is the I think the view, the monthly view of what we are talking about in the meeting notes. Next slide, please. Okay, to on the tasks that we're currently working, we use Jira, and this is the Kanban view of Jira. So if you don't know what a Kanban is to do, doing, done. Of course, you can customize some of the statuses, but this is the outcome of like the result of a Kanban, what you need to follow up on. And this is the way that we organize the work that's being currently being addressed by Vera and also by American Red Cross's volunteers. So it's a shared board. So everyone knows what's happening in this sprint, in the given sprint. Here, for this to work across teams, we have clear standards. So the assignee should always be up to date. So if you are assigned to a ticket and you are the assignee of the ticket, you are the owner of the ticket. So the next action is yours. And if you need to assign it to someone else to comment on something, it's your responsibility to keep all this information up to date. Not only that, also, of course, the status of the current task that you are working on. And Alicia is the glue of all these tickets. So she always on the loop of any comments that we are making. So she knows like if the American Red Cross needs to take an action, or it's a Vera action now that needs to be taken. And I think it's the best way to describe this is the for us from Vera is the broader view of okay, what's going on this sprint and what we need to be aware of for the next sprints also. So this always tell us what's coming next throughout the planning throughout the planning phase when you're deciding what to do next on the next month. Next slide, please. And then I mentioned about how we continually improve with feedback. And part of that is also we do it on calls, we mention on comments during our work, our daily work, but every end of sprint, we have a retrospective, okay? So in this retrospective, we celebrate our success, we map what we can improve, and if we still have questions about something, so we always assess the sprint that we went through and identify areas of improvement. And one interesting thing to mention here is that when we started, the first couple of months, a lot of what we can change, improve for this month, and this has been reducing throughout time. So like now we see like just a couple of items, and we always make sure to apply these new practices or these new improvements in the next sprint. So we're always addressing again with that ownership part. If it's a Vera action, Mari and I, we make sure that we apply on Vera side. If it's American Red Cross action, Alisa makes sure that it's applied on American Red Cross side. And next slide, please. And I would like to invite Mari to talk about the impacts of all this planning, working, visualization.
Thank you, Andre. So Shrivatsan and pop them up. Let's take a look on what were the impacts of all these that we have been doing. Of course, faster sprints. In the beginning, we were discussing a lot, like how you're gonna do, how you're gonna approach this ticket, how the flow will go. But with time, we developed like faster sprints because we already know all the feedback helped with that. So we knew next steps. Also, improvements on backlog grooming and prioritization because while you're working on tickets, we would see other like details that could help us to grow the backlog. That's something we can improve, lower priority, but let's put on the backlog. And of course, LOE estimation that is really helpful for Alicia to manage all the resources she has available. And something here that I would like to call out is the research tickets. They are really important. Sometimes we see a problem and we're like, yeah, let's gonna fix this really quick. It's urgent. But sometimes researching is key so we can understand the depth of the problem. We might think it's something really hard, it can end up being easy, or we can think it's really easy and can ended up being really hard. So those research tickets have been helping us a lot improve the sprints and the way we work with tickets. But we also have more impacts, which are, for example, the capabilities mapping that we have been doing to understand what we are using and how we can use it better. Shrivatsan pop them up in there in the second phase. Of course, as Alicia and Andrea already mentioned, feedback culture all the time, not only in the end, but throughout the month, so we can start doing better. And of course, the relationship building that I will deep dive a little bit in future slides. But it's really important for us to keep all that together. So I'm gonna do a pause here. Please use the Q&A button. Add your questions. We'll address them in the end. And I will hand it back to Alicia so we can talk about empowering the team.
All right. Empowering the team. I think one thing to note a little bit, just to give a bit more context about the way that American Red Cross leverages AMP Impact. So we leverage some of the core functionality, but we also have done quite a bit of customization, custom workflows to meet our needs. I think that has been really helpful to have a team that understands that. But I think when you're hearing different meetings and different tickets, that's what it's about, right? It's not just the standard out of the box system, but it's also additional customizations. And then as our team grows and as our team evolves, we are also finding new needs that our team has and then identifying how we can leverage AMP Impact. So that's a bit of context. I realized we didn't really talk about what types of tickets we're working on, but that's generally a little bit of context around the type of work that we do. I think coming to empowering the team, I think that it is, again, back to our partnership and the work that we do with Andre and Mari. I think it is we are focused as partners on wanting to have collaboration and ensuring that there is open communication with the team. I mentioned earlier that we've had different developers, and one of the challenges that I faced a little bit early on was I sit in Texas, and so we had a developer that was sitting on a different part of the world, and so I would end up losing basically 20% of my week with them because they were on a different day. So my Thursday was their Friday, and I would lose my Friday with them. And obviously they were online on my Sunday, but I wasn't online until Monday. So I would lose a fifth of the week with them. And so that is part of the feedback that I provided to Vera and asked if we could find a team that was a bit closer, at least on the same day with me. And so I appreciate that Vera worked with me on that to make sure that we have a team that's a little bit closer to my time zone as well. But I think in partnership, right, that's one of the big things is being able to communicate your needs, being able to advocate for what you need. And I think having a partner like Vera who's open to that feedback and open to supporting and adapting with us as we've grown. And then back to transparency and accountability. I think all of these key themes of our partnership allow for our team members to feel empowered. I think especially to bring their specialized expertise and their fresh perspective. Andre and Mari joined the team more recently, and so being able to onboard them and asking them what they saw, where they could see areas for improvement on the process and the way that we're working. Even now, looking at past work that we've done or that my team has done or their team has done, from, a couple of years ago, being able to revisit that and say, is there a way that we could do this in a more efficient way? And having that open communication and transparency with the team has been important, because they bring their own expertise, right? They bring either their past experience from other organizations. They also obviously bring the Vera expertise and the AMP impact expertise. And so I think that always is so helpful to being able to learn and grow together with a partner. I think it also builds confidence and autonomy. So being able to empower the teams as we've gone through a few different times, the structure that we have, the routine that we have, the clarity of communication that we have allows for people to take time off. I recently needed to take some time off and I had a lot of confidence in the team. They were not blocked because I was gone. They knew exactly what they needed to work on and the work continued without me. And so I think that is another key to ensuring that you have a partner that you trust. If you have analysts that you trust and that you know that you have confidence in what they can do. Of course, greater alignment with mission and values, like I mentioned earlier. Andre and Mari feel like they're truly a part of our team. And then it frees up bandwidth for me and for our team and the work that we do as well. And so all of these items are super important and helpful. I'll hand it off to Mari.
Thank you. Of course, when we talk about all that, we might think, oh, I know what to do next. I would just put all the structure and ta-da, everything will work. But I need to call out the aspect of the people. Most of the work all of us do is because of the people. And that's really important on the team. Of course, feedback sometimes they can be hard, but we don't need to just focus on the hard feedback. That's why every month we are always keeping, not just once a month, every day on our meetings, we are energizing ourselves. What went well? Let's celebrate this. This was a great achievement. Like, we passed through these hard times, but we are better in the end. And this is really important. But how we get to this kind of connection? No secret. We need to build. We need to go after that. Because in the beginning, when everyone is new to the project, and especially if the project is going through hard times, everyone's kind of nervous and we want everything to go perfect, but we don't know how exactly to do that. That's the times when we need to lean on our partners and really explore what's there, how we can connect. And a great example here was Alicia once mentioned she studied a little bit of time in Latin, in Argentina, and I was like, whoa, I'm doing Spanish classes and I'm really afraid of speaking Spanish because I don't know if it sounds good. And she was like, yeah, we can try. Like, is that acceptable? We know we are working, but would that be a good idea? And Srivatsan just pop up the next image and it started. We're like, okay, let's try. Andre, are you on board? Because you can imagine Andre was just there in the middle. You're using Spanish. He can understand, but he's also like building the confidence to answer in Spanish. This is just like a fun fact on how we kind of develop this relationship on other personal stuff. Like when we go PTO, what was your PTO? Where you went, what you saw, how it was. And in the end, it is about keeping it professional, but also to get it personal. Those are the people you're working daily with. So we need to go after this connection and really build it. And of course, always, and you guys probably heard us saying this 20 times, feedback. If we are going too much personal, hey, boundaries, let's reframe. Or if it's too professional, hey, why are we like too professional? Let's break some ice here and get connected. And once we went through like these hard tickets, we were always stressed, like, how can we solve this? And Alicia brought this amazing phrase to us that was exactly what we needed at the time. That is, everyone hears when a tree falls, but no one hears when the forest is growing. So sometimes we all were like, wow, this is going wrong. what we can do better, but why not also always remember that the forest is growing? We're always learning and we're always doing better. That's why you saw on impacts that we are doing faster sprints and stuff like that. So it is, in the end, next slide, all about being one team. You can put all there, Shirvats and all the text. So we are always focusing on who needs to know about this. Once we know our audience, there might be sometimes the volunteers, and we already had some calls with the volunteers. It's amazing to get to know them. Alicia has a volunteer with a lot of experience in Salesforce, and we love to connect with him because we learn a bunch. So once we know who needs to know, and if that person is too technical or not too technical, we will address that on how we document, keeping everything explained, screenshots with arrows if needed. This knowledge exchange is what make us grow in the long term. And of course, again, success is not just one factor, it's the combination of the efforts to ensure balance between all the team members. So here it's Vera and American Red Cross, but in the day-to-day is one team, because those small, steady actions as a team create big results over time. And it's a pleasure to be sharing this story with you all. But now I'll hand it over back to Srivatsan so he can explain a little bit more of the managed services structure.
Thanks, team. The questions guy is up again. If you have any questions, please drop them into the Q&A. We'll move on to a quick overview of Vera's managed services, and we can then have some time towards the end for answering questions. So a quick look at the various managed services options from Vera. Why choose Vera's managed services? As I said before, we've been in the space for 15 years now. We understand what the sector needs, and we're well positioned to deliver managed services to our clients in the way our clients need. We have a global team, and we have various pricing models to make sure everyone can afford them and as well as benefit from them. We have partnered with some of the leading social impact organizations in the space, and we have helped them drive their mission better with technology. Cool. So at this point of time, Vera offers 3 types of managed services engagements, and each one is towards a targeted set of client group. So the managed support services are for clients with system administrators who need additional support to manage the growing complexity of their systems or their evolving business needs. System admin services are for clients who do not have a full-time system administrator, either because they cannot afford a full-time system admin, or they do not have the technical expertise to hire and manage a system administration team. So in this case, Vera becomes the system administrators, and we run the solution while the clients can focus on the mission. Advanced support services are for clients who have a highly competent system admin or a product owner, or maybe they have a development team and they need guidance on what the industry best practices are, or advice on custom coding and quality assurance practices, etc. So examples of what goes with what is covered under managed support are building reports and dashboards, config updates, etc. Under system administration, everything that is done under managed support, plus everything a system administrator can do, user and sandbox management, or interfacing with third-party tool support on their systems, etc. Advanced support examples of tasks that are covered under advanced support are eliminating blockers for the development team, or guidance on custom development options, helping define new functional requirements, etc. The common thing across all managed services is the delivery methodology. We typically try to have a single point of contact so that the client has a single person or a single team to build a relationship with. Vera Connect is Vera's dedicated client portal where for case management or accessing AMP knowledge base. We do priority alignment. We deliver in alignment with the client's priorities. So we meet at the beginning of every month to review the backlog or everything we just heard so far. Every client has a dedicated delivery manager who acts as the escalation point of contact, and as well as checks in with the client every now and then to ensure that the engagement is going well. And then we also have a sort of system optimization activities where on particular months where we still have hours remaining, let's not waste those hours. Let's do something to keep things going. Maybe if documentation is pending, we'll wrap up the documentation, or other types of system optimization activities. Cool. With that, we have a good 10 minutes to take questions, and I saw a few questions come in. So let's do this. I will ask, I'll choose questions from the Q&A sections, and we can all take turns at answering them. All right, Alicia, there is one question for you. How has the partnership evolved over time? So you've been working with the analysts for what, over 9 months now? How has things been at the beginning? How has it evolved over time?
Yeah, I will speak to how our partnership has evolved since I've been at the Red Cross. I think that when I joined, there was one of my teammates was interim holding the space, and so I joined when there was already quite a bit of work going on. I think that the way that it's evolved has been just bringing a bit more. My role, as I understood it, was to bring a bit more structure and organization to the work that we were doing. I think that with time, we've been able to have increased communication and increased transparency, I think, as partners. And then having different analysts. So I've had, I think, three different groups of analysts. This is a team that I've had the longest. But I think that it's evolved with time as well. Every analyst who joins has their own perspective and their own needs and their own feedback. And so we try to adapt with them. I think what I appreciate about having the same set of analysts is that we can truly get into a groove, and into a rhythm, and being able to move smoothly through. So I would say specifically since January when Andre joined, yeah, there's been a bit more, I would say on our end, a bit more stability and a bit more forward momentum as well with both Andre and Mari, just due to the consistency as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thanks, Alicia. Mary, this question came up when you were speaking. How does the decision-making process of making potential changes work? How do you approach this?
Perfect. I think that goes into what Alicia mentioned, that us as analysts, sometimes we work across systems. So sometimes we can share like different approaches, how other clients sometimes are doing it. And whenever Alicia brings a ticket for us, we analyze and we see what's the best resolution here, and if we should change. Of course, we always do this analysis of the impacts, if this won't have any impact on the system or if it will have a big impact. And we explain all the technical part. Alicia already has like a little bit of technical background in Salesforce, which is really helpful. But even if the PO on the client side doesn't have technical expertise, we will always explain what's going on with in the best way possible to kind of decide how we will approach that change, and always bring to the table LOEs, impacts, and all the details needed on this client side to take this decision. Sometimes we put more people into the discussion, any other technical or even leadership that needs to be part of it. So that's how we do, always 100% communication on what will be done and how.
Thanks, Mary. Helping our clients make data-driven decisions is what we try to do best. Cool. Here's a question I can take. Can you give us an order of magnitude? How many Vera solutions hours do you need for a regular quarter? So it depends on the type of offering you choose, as well as what your needs really are. We have offerings as little as 16 hours per month, very low touch, very reactive support just when you need us. And we have other clients who are on a 80 hours per month package where they really need us. They need to talk to us on a weekly basis, lots of stuff to be done. It's also very flexible. A lot of our clients start with a higher option, and then with time they move on to a lower package. So it really depends on your requirements. What we want to do best is spin out a service which is best suited to your needs. Yeah, please, you can give us your details on our web page, and we'll be happy to contact you. Uh, Andre, there's a question for you. Andre, how does the team approach bugs? Okay, this is an important question.
I think I can connect to what Mari was talking about. So whenever something comes to us, it comes to Alicia, and we have some practices that we've mapped already when something needs to be addressed to Vera. So what's happening? What's the issue? What's the being impacted? What's the impact to the business? So we all always have this information, and of course we know that bugs are coming because bugs are usually assigned to American Red Cross's volunteers. But if it's something needs to be like, okay, they need Vera support, Alicia will tell us, and we know in advance that we'll be dealing with this bug soon. Soon. So yeah, so this is the preparation. So bugs can come in any forms, but like I can say that we use a lot of critical thinking here. So it's not just about solving the issue, but is okay, that was the cause of the issue. This is the impact of the issue, and also if I fix this, will it break something else? So there's this holistic view of what we are working at the moment, if it will be impacting something else, or if it was caused by something that we worked previously. So we try to get this historical, this history of what causes the issue. So before we start working on it, of course, we need to be precise depending on the priority and impacts. But usually we apply critical thinking to what we're doing, not just executing, looking for a solution. Mari?
Yeah, just to add here, sometimes people think, oh my gosh, bugs is awful, etc. Sometimes we love bugs because we realize that it's not actually a technical failure, but the user interaction with the system. And they're like, yeah, this is not behaving as I want, so it's a bug for the user. And we have this expertise to understand, okay, the system is doing exactly what was supposed to do, but we understand that you have different needs. And that's when we grow backlog, we do documentation, user training, and it helps us to be proactive for when it happens next. So we kind of have these two types of bugs that we address on all projects.
Thanks for jumping on, Mary. Felicia, there's a question for you. How do you prioritize how your maintenance hours are utilized? So your hours per month, do you have any best practices or guidance for how best to utilize those hours?
Question is how do I prioritize how I use the Vera hours per month? Yeah,
Correct,
I
correct.
think I spoke a little bit to this earlier. So the way that I leverage my volunteer team, I leverage them as day-to-day system admin. We have support cases that come through AMP Impact for us. We set up support cases, and so users are able to flag, hey, this isn't working for me. Hey, I want this. I need this report or that data, or help me figure out how to pull this or that. All of those support cases come through the admin team first, and so we review those together as an admin team on a separate call. And then if there's anything that I note that is going to be a bigger ask, let's say, we know that my admin team, because they're volunteers, they don't always have, X amount of hours. Sometimes they have hours, sometimes they're doing something else, sometimes they're taking time off, they're traveling, whatever it is. And so if there's anything that I know that is going to be a bigger lift, then that is where I start to think of Vera, because I have more consistency with the Vera team in the sense of I know how many hours I have with them. I know that I can get those hours because we've already paid for those hours. And so that's the way that I leverage it. So it comes in through support cases. We do a first look as an admin team, and then anything that the admin say, this is going to be a bigger thing. Also, anything that's specific to AMP Impact. I mentioned customizations sometimes on my admin team can work on, but if there's anything that's specific to AMP Impact, then we have AMP Impact, the Vera team work on those.
Amazing, amazing. Well, I want to be respectful of everyone's time. So thanks, Alicia. Thanks for doing this. And everyone who has joined, thank you so much for taking out the time. I hope you all have benefited in some or the other way. If you want to chat further, you can please feel free to scan the QR code on the screen, or get in touch with through the website. But yeah, I hope you all have a good day, and I really hope these learnings would help you in whichever potential partnerships you pursue in the future.